Hi there. Before we begin, please make sure you have a notebook or a piece of lined paper and a pencil ready on your desk. You are about to listen to a summary of the book Frindle by Andrew Clements. Please listen very carefully as you go because you will need to write down and answer some questions at the end of the summary. I have a challenge for you. Try to finish listening to the entire summary and write all your answers on your paper before you check the answers in the video description to see how you did. This is a great way to practice your listening and thinking skills. I hope you enjoy the summary. Good luck. Nick Allen isn't your average NPC. He's the king of distraction quests. If a teacher is about to give homework, Nick is the one who asks a question about the teacher's favorite pet just to run out the clock. He's got major riz, and everyone in the fifth grade thinks he's the GOAT. But then he meets his final boss, Mrs. Granger. She's the language arts teacher who lives for the dictionary and doesn't tolerate any Ohio behavior in her classroom. Nick tries his usual time waster move on Mrs. Granger. He asks her where all the words in the dictionary come from. But Mrs. Granger is a high level player. She doesn't fall for the bait. Instead of wasting time, she assigns Nick an extra research paper on the history of words. Major L for Nick. He realized he just played himself. He had to go home and actually study, which was definitely not part of his vibe. While walking home, Nick finds a gold pen on the ground. Suddenly, his brain hits a level up moment. He remembers that Mrs. Granger said, "We, the people, decide what words mean." He decides to stop calling it a pen and starts calling it a Frindle. He realizes that if he can get enough people to use the word, it becomes a real thing. It's the ultimate social experiment, and Nick is ready to lock in. Nick gets his squad together and they all take an oath. They promise to never use the word pen again. In class, Nick asks to borrow a Frindle. Then another kid does it. Then another. Mrs. Granger is totally pressed. She thinks the word is mid and tells them to stop. But telling a bunch of fifth graders not to do something is like giving them a speed boost. The Frindle movement is officially in its main character era. The principal, Mrs. Chatham, gets involved because the Frindle craze is causing chaos. She visits Nick's house to talk to his parents, looking like she's about to drop a permanent ban on Nick's account. But Nick's parents are low-key chill about it. Meanwhile, at school, Mrs. Granger is giving out after-school detentions like they're candy. The school hallway was a battlefield where the only weapons were ink and imagination. A reporter named Alice Lunderson hears about the Frindle War and writes a story for the newspaper. Suddenly, the whole town is talking about it. Then the national news picks it up. Nick is now a literal legend. People are making Frindle t-shirts and hats. A local businessman is even starting to sell Frindle merch and sends Nick's dad a share of the profits. Nick's aura is off the charts, but he's starting to feel the pressure of being so famous. Years pass. Nick grows up, goes to college, and becomes a wealthy guy of all the Frindle money. He almost forgets about the whole thing until one day he receives a package from Mrs. Granger. Inside is a brand new dictionary. He flips to the F section and sees it. Frindle, noun, a device used for writing. He won. The word is officially part of the English language. He realized Mrs. Granger wasn't a villain. She was just helping him win the game. Nick sends Mrs. Granger a gift in return, a gold pen, or should we say, Frindle, with an inscription thanking her. He realizes that she was rooting for him the whole time. She played the villain role perfectly just to make the word Frindle even more popular. It was a 10-year-long sneaky link plan. Nick realized that Mrs. Granger was the true Sigma all along. Big W for everyone. Question 1. What is Nick Allen's favorite side quest to do in class when he wants to avoid getting homework? Question 2. What specific object does Nick decide to rename, and what is the new name he gives it? Question 3. What does Nick find in the dictionary Mrs. Granger sends him years later that proves he officially won the game? Question 4. Based on the ending of the summary, why did Mrs. Granger pretend to be the final boss and fight against the word Frindle so hard? Question 5. Why does Nick start to feel pressure when the Frindle movement goes national? Question 6. The summary uses the metaphor the school hallway was a battlefield where the only weapons were ink and imagination. How does this metaphor help you understand the conflict in the book?